All right. Welcome to another episode of Both Sides of the Bed.
Welcome.
Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. And we love you.
A lot.
Today we have a very intentional episode about intentions.
Yes, we do.
Yes. And, as we wrap up 2023 and go into 2024, we felt it was a good time to speak about, our intentions in our relationship, the importance of intention, and just kind of a refresh and bringing some good energy into ending the year off. And so we can have some intentions for our relationship, and just in general, we can be more intentional in our relationships.
Yeah, in our lives.
Yeah.
It's so necessary.
Because intention is like one of those big things that can kind of go under the radar in terms of the importance and how you should have your focus on that. But I feel like we should be intentional about everything that we do all day, every day.
Yeah, from what you put on to express yourself, from what you say. Intention is in every aspect of our lives.
Yes. And it requires you to be very conscious of and aware of the moment, the present moment. So let's have a very intentional conversation.
Yeah.
As we end the year and close things out. So we've been potting a lot more lately.
Yeah, it's been fun.
I'm feeling very good about that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it feels different now.
Yeah.
It feels very different now. It definitely helps when we're just good with each other.
Yeah.
Because it'd be hard having having a business relationship or a creative relationship with your partner.
Yeah.
In a big way where we have to share with other people. Yeah, it becomes very challenging.
Yeah.
To stay on top of that.
And that's why just moving with so much intention is so necessary, because when you have your goal, it's just like, oh, okay, this is what, or even your intention. When you have your intention, you have like an idea of what you want to do. And I feel like intention in general is just kind of like this loopy thing where people are just like, oh yes, be intentional, but don't really solidify or define what that means for them. And I think for us, what's been the game changer. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I did look it up.
You have the official definition.
I don't know if it was official, but go for it. But I feel like the biggest shift for us has been, one, feeling more grounded in our space, and two, being more intentional about who we want to be and where we want to go.
Yeah.
So I think for a while, like the last year has been like planning for this move and just like getting in a good enough space where we can even move in within each other. So it's like our overarching intention in the relationship was just like getting on the same page. So when we're in the same home, it just is more synchronistic.
Right.
And did I say that right, Nephew? Synchronistic?
Synchronized?
I'm
trying.
Synchronized.
Yeah, synchronized.
Okay, cool. Synchronized. So that, things just make sense. And I think that's what the biggest shift for us has been.
Yeah. I think there was before I get into the definition, I just think that there was a lot of time, and as you know, if you've listened to any episodes of the pod before, how we've had our challenges, and in those most challenging times where we're kind of just floating, just kind of trying to get through the day, and feeling disconnected with each other, it allowed a lot of room for just not being intentional whatsoever and just being out here just doing the relationship. And I'm sure we're not the only ones in that, where even if things are going good, but just maybe you've been just used to being with someone, and it went from having some intentions to just kind of just doing the thing.
Unlike robot mode or autopilot.
Yeah, just autopilot, and you just get comfortable, or you get used to it, or you get disconnected, and it's very easy to coast through years. Aimlessly.
Yeah.
Aimlessly. And I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to do that. I want to feel how exhilarating it will be to have a life under my control.
Yeah.
A life that, how powerful that is. And just in the things that I know that I have been intentional about in my life, once I have them, I still appreciate and I love them, and they make me feel good, and I feel great about them. And they're not as exciting a lot of times as I thought they'd be prior to getting them, because I planned for this. So it's not a shock. I didn't stumble upon some lucky situation. Nah, I put my work into this. I put focus into this. And of course I'll have this right now.
Yeah.
And I think that if we apply that kind of mentality to every area of our life, we really can reel that thing in and just, make it our bitch.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
And after your definition, I have, I guess, a sex fact or a fact.
I got being intentional means making deliberate choices to reflect what is most important to us.
Deliberate choices.
Yeah.
I like that.
Very deliberate. And what's most important to us. So I feel like there's not a lot of fire when you try to be intentional about shit that doesn't really mean anything to you, or maybe other people have put such high value on it for you and try to put intention on your life, but it's not necessarily the things that really move you and give you life.
Yeah.
So really, I like the part about most important to us. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like just like when you're deliberate and you're just focusing in on those details, you become immersed in what you're trying to do. And it becomes a part of you, regardless of what it is. It becomes a real part of your thought process to do something with intention. Yeah. So I like that.
Yeah. So let's talk about just intention in relationships. Like what does that look like? What is the importance of it? Why should we have intentions in our relationships?
Well, I will give you the fact to answer that and we can go on. Intentionality is making a conscious effort to love someone in ways that make them feel loved. When it comes to relationships and how we show up in them, it's being intentional, being purposeful, being deliberate, and learning that person and knowing not just how do I want to love you and what is my capacity for love, but what do you need to feel loved by me? And I think that's really true intention when it comes into really any type of relationship, a friendship, a sisterhood, a romantic relationship, whatever it is. How can I show up for you in a way that you actually need and is actually a benefit to you? Yeah.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I realized just in this moment how important the intention of who you want to be and what you want in your relationships is even more important than being able to tap into providing what you need. I need to know what I'm capable of. I need to know what I want to get out of a relationship. Why do I even want to be in any type of relationship? What am I seeking to get out of it? What am I seeking to bring to the table? How do I want to grow? You have to ask those questions so you know for yourself what you need, and then you can know if you're capable of providing what the other person needs for themselves. But you have to first be clear about what you want for yourself.
No, absolutely. Like you can't pour from an empty cup. And that's been like, it's so cliche, but that's been like my biggest lesson this year is just like realizing how much I give to others and how much I have not been giving to myself. And it's now to the point where it's like giving to others is pushing me away from those relationships and also just making me feel very drained. Like I feel like I have nothing replenishing me. So back to what you were saying is like I feel like I need to do that now and be more intentional with like, okay, what am I actually not even capable of, but like what do I actually want to do? Like how do I actually want to love? And from that, like compare and contrast, how does the people in my life need to be loved by me so everybody feels the love, so that everybody feels balanced and heard and seen. It's everything.
Yeah. Because like imagine if you're single and you're in a space of your life where traveling and career and just exploration is most important to you. You want to be very intentional about those things. Then you're able to be very clear on what capacity you have to maybe be with somebody else. Maybe like you need to do these things for yourself and you don't necessarily want to bring somebody along the journey. If you're clear on what your goals and intentions are for your personal life, then when you meet somebody who is looking to be in something more serious and committed and move in together within the next year or two, you can be very clear in knowing this won't be able to work out for that. But you gotta like face it. You gotta be real with yourself about what you want, hear what they say about what they need, and then you can come together and make a decision on if this is a good option for you both.
No, absolutely. And I think a lot of people because we're not taught about how to be intentional, and how to move with intention. So a lot of people are just kind of aimlessly going into relationships and depleting themselves because they're put in these situations where they can't thrive because they, one, aren't being intentional with themselves, and two, they don't know how to be intentional with another person or meet them where they're at or love them the way that they need to be loved. So we just kind of have these half-ass relationships all around.
Yeah, it's like the intention is that key ingredient in creating your roadmap, so you know where you're going and how to get there. Yeah. I'm just trying to think back just in my life in any kind of relationships. I wouldn't say I necessarily had any intentions going into anything. And I used to kind of pride myself. It's like one of those buzzwords almost, in the sense like, yeah, I don't have any intentions. I'm just, going with the flow and seeing how things work out. And, I'm open to this. Well, that's what I would say. Yeah, I'm open to, whatever comes. But, I don't really have any specific intentions other than, enjoying each other's company. And that's where we start.
What a male perspective.
Don't put that on a man shit. Why is that? So you're saying that women don't think like that. Why are you saying that? I'm
saying that men definitely think like that.
Okay, but why did you say you said it with the tone that's even a problem?
So it's not a problem. It's just predictable. Respectfully, it's just like, yes, men. Because how many times are people in a situation or people in a relationship and the man goes like, we'll just see how this goes, like, I want to have sex with you and take up all your time, and I really would feel uncomfortable if you had sex with anyone else, but I'm just gonna go with the flow.
But that's a lack of intention.
Yeah, it is.
That comes from a lack of intention.
I was saying sounds like very familiar.
Men do have a strong lack of intention a lot of times. They have a strong amount of attention to getting some pussy, for sure. But the intention part, yeah, I mean, we're not taught to even focus or value that. Or it's either that or it's just straight bullshit. Like, they know what their intention is, but they don't want to be honest about their intention. So they use this blanket, well, I'm just open to whatever happens. Instead of being
probably the latter.
It's definitely a lot of that. It's definitely a lot of that. So, in having these conversations, hopefully that'll help calm some of that down, because it's just so not necessary. And it probably took me until my late 20s. Yeah, it was in my late 20s when I started realizing that by me not respecting whatever my relationship was with this young lady, that I'm just kind of leading her to no man's land. Yeah. And I should respect this enough to at least have an intention. Yeah. Even if my intention is only to have fun, I need to give this enough attention and respect it enough to be able to acknowledge that for myself and communicate that to her. Because I was always worried if I faced it, all right, you just want some pussy right now in your life, and I faced that truth and told her this, then I would lose out on the pussy. That's just what we fear as men. If I'm honest, I'm going to lose out here. I ran with that for a long time, but just listening to ignorant men tell me, they just didn't know. They thought that was the only option, like A plus B equals C. It makes sense. If I tell you all I want is pussy and you tell me you want a relationship, this is not going to work.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to like you said before, like, men aren't taught to be intentional in those relationships, and women are to an extent, not necessarily the proper tools in order to be effective in a relationship, but more so like we are taught to intend for marriage. So we go in wanting to, and not always, but like some of the time we feel like that urge to settle down. We feel that urge to just have a commitment, just to show almost like our worth. And it's not even something that is that's not intentional, but that's the one thing that we're taught to be intentional about.
It's the programming of that.
Exactly, which is why, so like we go in kind of wanting a relationship, even if we don't really want one, because we're like told, we're like conditioned, like, well, if I'm going to be with this person, I should be in a relationship. You know what I mean? And then because there's that thought process, then men are listening to women and they go, well, if I just tell her I want some pussy, then I'm not going to get it, because of just these piss poor thought processes that we're taught about how we move about in relationships.
Right. And that's what I started to learn that, yeah, women say that they're looking for the relationship or they act like they want, the serious relationship. But I started learning that it is more the programming. It's what y'all are taught. And there's a point a lot of times in women's lives where they realize, I may want something else, but they might fight it or deny that part of themselves because society tells them you should be looking for a husband. Make sure, you don't have too many partners out here. Act like a lady. And this is what a lady values: marriage and partnership relationships. Because then I started being honest. I started being honest about going to sex parties and like what I'm into and just all of that. And to my surprise, I don't think I've even had anybody like be weirded out.
Yeah. It's
always met with intrigue. Like it might not be like where, they want to delve into any level of that at all, but it was just like,
Because it's intriguing to hear a man actually be honest and tell them the truth. Because like women who date men are constantly having to experience that, well, either he's going to lead me on and pretend like he wants a relationship because all he wants is the punani, or he's going to just say he's going to go with the flow and all he wants is the punani. So it's like you're getting led down this dark path where it's like the women probably just want some penis. Like it's not even
right. It's like you're kind of getting your own way by not being real and just keep it a buck about what it is. Because if you just straight up date one, like honestly, obviously have a genuine conversation and genuinely try to connect with the person just on a human level. And you establish that comfort level. You let them know it's safe to be here. After you go and do that initial step and you move into a deeper conversation, you can just say what it is right now. Where is my temperature at? What am I here for? What do I want? And if sex is really that important to you, then understand the art of seduction. Go check out the episode. And once you understand the art of seduction, you add that with honesty and intention, and you just let them know what it is. And you do it in a seductive way. 9 times out of 10, you're probably gonna get what you want.
Yeah, and not only that, but you're not going to be lying to someone or dragging them along and just hurting them in the end, because really you just wasted their time.
Yeah.
And you probably could have just had something either consistent, but both in the realm of what you actually are capable of giving at the time, or you have a great night, or you just don't have anything and you move on and find someone who actually wants to do that. But I feel like we just are not respecting one another's time and effort. And because we're not being intentional about how we really want to communicate. Because it's not just intentional about how we want to communicate, but be intentional about how you want to present in the world. Do you want to present as someone who's a manipulator and a liar just so that you can get your dick wet? Like that's not really
the answer is yes. Sometimes to that. Shockingly enough, there's a sliver of the category of not keeping it real with women from men where it's purposeful. It is actually intentional. And there's this, it's like getting off on being a dog and a fuckboy and like running her through the ringer. Like, dudes would be chilling together and they got a girl calling his phone, blowing him up. Yeah, this bitch on my dick right now. And she keep calling me, ha, 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 and there's jokes and all that. There's an element of that where it's like, this feels good. Where I know that just comes back to you hurting other areas of your life, and you find you have this outlet now to hurt this woman because some shit in your life is fucked up. So I understand where it comes from now. But yeah, it's like sometimes we don't want to hurt y'all, but it's part of the game. It just happens. It's just it's just part of how it's just a byproduct of me not being able to man up and keep it real and being fearful of losing out on access to you. So part of it is that. Part of it is just being a fucking fuckboy. Like straight up, like that's just part of the shit sometimes. They like doing that shit. They get off on it. It feels good. And
the moment the tables turn, y'all start crying.
Yeah. So I understand. I understand the pain. But I will say, to go back to the point about how girls are taught to value marriage and relationships, I think we both have it a little messed up on both sides. Because imagine y'all go to that a lot of times, that extreme. A lot of times to the marriage and the deep relationships, it's so quick. It's like that's your intention from jump, and there's no space for
growth.
There to be, not even the growth part, just for flow to happen, just for two people, two energies to combine and interact with each other in just a beautiful present place, and just have some fun and genuine connection without having it to tie to some long-term goals. I don't know if I want to be your man yet. I don't know you. You don't know me. Why are we even fathoming talking about any of that? Because it takes at least a year or two to even begin to actually know somebody. And like we spoke about recently, you really still don't even know them until you live with them. So why are we jumping there? It's no problem with wanting to be in a committed relationship. I get the appeal. I get the value in being in a committed relationship with somebody. Can we just take some time? Can we just take some time? That's all I mean by that.
I think it's also just like a cultural thing. Like, you see a lot of that in America, where people are just kind of like dating to date, and there's so many other countries that are more traditional. That's like, we are dating for marriage. Like, that's the whole purpose of us getting together. And even back in the day, that's how it was. It's like, you're dating to just like see, like, is this gonna work? Because if it does, even for a millisecond, we're gonna get married.
99% of those relationships are unhappy. They're unhappy. The men controls the whole shit. The women are miserable, or they're both miserable because that's not what they wanted. That's not what they wanted. So I just encourage a lot more just balance between being too intentional and not being intentional enough.
No, absolutely.
And allowing that middle space to be the playground where y'all figure out where you want to go with things. But a woman can say from jump, I'd love to be in a committed relationship with somebody. That is definitely my goal. I like that. I don't want to just be out here dating, for too long. I don't want to just be out here having meaningless sex, or sex where I don't know this is going to turn into something. I don't want to offer my body up for it to not go anywhere. I'd rather hold on to that. I could respect that. I respect the shit out of that. If a woman came to me and was clear like that, bet, no problem. And if I like her enough from us having a good time together, then maybe I'll invest in the scene where this can go. But it's like, I feel like a lot of times women don't show up enough. It's like, you say you want that, but it's kind of like you here with your arms folded, like, well, nigga, tap dance for me. Show me all your tricks. I got a million of y'all over
like
here.
Like we're birds.
Fuck, show me why I should give a fuck about you. And it's like, well, hello, bitch. Are you going to show up to the party too? I don't like when women do that. Let's just be people and enjoy each other. Let's fully show up, each of us, and see what we want here. But give me something to work with, please.
I mean, when it comes to dating men is ridiculous. 10 out of 10 don't recommend. I'm kidding. But I feel like women are so exhausted because it's like the fuckboys, the ones who don't care, the ones who are manipulating. There's such a plethora of you motherfuckers that it's so hard to sift through the BS and be like, wow, a respectable man. So it's like, tap dance until I can find out.
That's not going to work for me because I know I'm not that. So if I know I'm not that, I'm not going to act like maybe I am that and I need to show her. Nah, you need to come to this. As exhausting as it is, I understand. I completely get it. And I'm not that, so I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that.
No, I completely understand. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just saying that it is.
Because I feel like if your intention is to find a good person and you come out on a date with me and you're open and you're really trying, you'll be able to quickly see. Oh, okay. You'll feel, fuck the words that I say. That's whatever. I can say whatever. But you'll just feel my energy and your gut will tell you, this might be a good situation for you to explore. But you gotta be tapped in with the moment.
I remember being tapped in with that moment with you.
Right, then it just feel like, oh yeah,
it felt
absolutely.
Great.
I just feel like I'm absolutely gonna see her a lot more. Yeah, we didn't have to even get heavy into the conversation.
No.
We didn't even get down the stairs to enter into the space yet.
No.
Yeah. And then within a few minutes of conversation, it was just flowing.
And here we are.
Yeah.
4 years later, almost 4 years later.
Yeah. And I I wasn't that intentional when we met. I would say I wasn't that intentional when we met. It happened to work out. But bringing that energy into like my dating life that whole year prior to you, I just had a bunch of whatever the fuck this is.
You're saying you weren't that intentional with me or just in general?
That whole year leading up to you and like when we first initially met, I wasn't clear on my intentions with anybody. Yeah, I just got out of a shitty relationship and I knew that I want relationship, but you know, I was scared on what that could look like or what I might be getting myself into. So I wasn't pressed for that. I knew I needed to have some fun and like get over my situation. But I knew also after a couple months of doing that, like this is kind of empty. Like I need something more. So I had rough draft of what it was, but it wasn't clear enough. And I feel like if I was clear, that whole time would have even been better for me.
What whole time?
That year.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant like when we were together. I'm like, I thought it was a great time for you.
No, it was. I think through like dating a little bit before you and not being intentional, it kind of. I was doing a little stringing along, definitely. I was doing a little stringing along, and I wasn't communicating anything other than the present moment. I was very much in my. Yeah, I'm just going with the flow, you know, seeing how things work. It was half bullshit because. It was half bullshit because I knew what I definitely didn't want.
All men are trash.
Hey, this is why we have these conversations so that we can all grow and get better together. Thank you. So yeah, I did a little.
Even my man is trash. Let me stop. I'm kidding.
So yes, I did do a little go with the flow, magic dust, and I could have elaborated more on what it was, and also like I wasn't clear. I'm doing this with other people. I was always type like, yo, if you don't ask me, I'm not gonna say shit to you about it. If you don't ask me about nobody else, you ain't gonna know nothing about nobody else. And I'm still fine with that initially, but after, you know, you doing something for a couple months, they should probably just know, yo, this is my lifestyle. I be dating.
I'm trying to figure out how I found out you were dating someone else at the same time.
I just told you.
I feel like it was Valentine's Day.
No, but you knew about her before then. You knew about her a little before then, and then I told you something specific then on Valentine's Day where...
Well, let's talk about what you talked about specifically. So, we are seeing each other every goddamn
That's
day.
That's where you about to go with this? Why?
Because it's ridiculous. Because all men are trash, including mine.
Oh my God.
Every single day we're seeing each other for months.
It wasn't months yet.
This was February, so a whole month.
It might have been 3 weeks.
It was, okay.
About 3 weeks.
3.5. Mm-hmm. And...
months.
And then like Valentine's Day is coming up. Let's say Valentine's Day is on a Friday. That Thursday, all of a sudden he's like, I can't see you today. And I'm like, oh, okay, why? I have to help my mom with something.
Was that it?
Yes.
I don't know what it was.
Whack ass excuse. And
I told you that?
Yes. And then I was just like, okay, you can't see me at all throughout the whole entire night because you're going to be with your mom. Okay, I'm not going to ask any questions. Why would you lie? He lied because men are trash. And I just like, something told me like, I don't think that's it, but I didn't think too much of it. Come to find out, he was with the other girl and slept with her the night before. We officially made it. Men are trash. Public service announcement.
I still like how it was
a trash can. I'm kidding.
I just didn't know we were in blow up season. We're just blowing things up.
I'm just saying. I'm just giving a perfect example of what happens when you're not intentional.
This is true. I was not intentional. But then I became intentional and I freely shared that information with you. Did I not?
Yes, but you were up.
And did we not make things official that same evening?
Yes, but you were under the influence when you shared. It wasn't even like a free. You weren't just going with the flow.
I'm more tapped in. I wasn't drunk. I was tapped in. Thank you. When I take Molly, I speak my mind. The truth. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's what happened.
He was going to take it to the grave. You were going to take it to the grave. I don't think you would have told me.
I can't confirm or deny that fact.
I can.
No, I can't.
You know how I can?
Because not all men are trash.
No, because all men are trash. I can easily confirm that.
All men are trash.
Okay.
Anyway, be intentional, everyone. Be intentional. I did get more intentional though with you and realizing I wanted to do something serious with you. It helped me start thinking about where I want to go with this. And our interest in having a dom sub dynamic and just the energy surrounding that and the type of lifestyle that, you know, that awards you, and like trying to have some focused effort to figure out how to do that, and have fun with that and explore each other in that way. We got very intentional in that way.
Yeah.
And because we were living together during COVID, we had nothing else to do but be intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just face each other all the time, and it really helped me get clear on what I wanted to do and wanted to be with you, and wanted to get married and everything. I was able to get clear on that for the first time, and not just be out here floating around going with the flow. Because you would have felt that. You definitely would have felt that if I was still going with the flow, Ahmir. Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't have worked.
I will say that I wouldn't have got as intentional as quickly if there was no COVID. Yeah, because I was chilling. I was chilling during that time.
I disagree. You were whipped.
I said what I said.
Nah, you were obsessed. You were so ready.
But that's the thing. It doesn't matter though. Even with that, sometimes when you're in the just having fun mode, you can just compartmentalize and that's just my fun time, and I'm working on this thing over here. It would have took me a little longer.
Like that Thursday when you compartmentalized, but you were with your mom.
Exactly. Exactly. I would have dragged that out a little bit more. But I'm so glad that I did, and I'm so glad that we did.
Yeah.
But I see the value in that, and I do want to be an advocate and a spokesman for men, so they just know, like, we don't have to do that shit no more. It's a new day. People out here being honest. People out here being open about what they want. That fear of losing out on vagina, number one, because not even the connection, like just losing out. There's gonna be, if it's not her, there's gonna be somebody else, and they're gonna love how honest you are, and it's gonna turn them on, and they're gonna have an amazing sex together if you just keep it real, and you don't have to hurt nobody in the process
At all.
because we don't really be wanting to hurt nobody. Most men don't really be wanting to hurt nobody.
Just do it by accident every single day.
You know, it's a casualty of war. It's just a casualty of war. I don't know how else to say it. It's just what it is.
Just a casualty in
of
war.
Sometimes shit gets blown up, you know? Sometimes it happens, you know?
Breaking a woman's heart is a casualty in war.
Sometimes it is. Not saying it's right. War is not right.
Garbage can.
I'm just the messenger, okay? I'm just the messenger.
Same.
Yeah. But it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. So I encourage everyone to just face themselves in the mirror and just say, what kind of relationship do I want? Do I want to fuck around? Am I looking to get married? Am I just looking to be in a relationship for however long it's going to last? But like, I want to be with somebody. Wherever you land, you know, on the chart, just do that and just say it with your chest, both sides. And ladies, again, remember, do not go all the way to marriage right away. We don't like that. We don't like that. That's the female version of thirst. Yeah, that's the female version of thirst. When y'all asked 2 weeks into it after we done fucked 3 or 4 times, so where do you want to go with this? Where are we going? Where is this thing going? You know the question.
I think that's just women trying to be intentional and find out if they should try to be more intentional or if they're getting their time wasted.
I feel like my preference is, in our first real conversation about anything of substance, you just let me know. So, I'm out here, I'm dating, but I just want to let you know I am looking for a relationship right now. I like to be with one person. I'm a single person kind of girl. So I don't want to be sharing you with nobody, blah, blah, blah. All right, cool, bet. I know what it is. Hey, I like to go to fucking sex parties, so maybe this might not be a good look. And I'm good with that.
Men are such fickle creatures. God bless you all.
There's a lot of judgment happening
I said God bless you. And I feel like on our side, it's like, going in and saying, hey, you know, it's been a few weeks and I just want to gauge where things are at and see if this is something you want to pursue, if this is more casual. I think that men will automatically take that, like, she's trying to trap me. Oh my God, she's already trying to lock it down. Even if it's like an open-ended, like, I'm not pushing for a relationship, I just want to know like where you're at and, you know, just checking in. Like, they would take it as that, and then next thing you know, where'd they go?
Well, that's on the men's side. That's their fault. That's their problem. Then that's their issue. But as the woman, at least if you show up like that, it's on him. If he's going to just crumble like a bitch and think that she's trying to lock him up over asking that completely valid question, then that's on him. You don't want him in your life anyway. He's going to crumble.
Why don't we want them in our life? Because men are trash.
Why are we making this the theme of the episode?
I just think it's great.
You see, I'm just shedding love here. I just want us to just love each other and hug.
Trash.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. See, that's why we don't like that. We're not going to feel supported. We're just going to dog y'all out even more. It's too much judgment.
I'm not judging you guys. Just your actions and lack of attention and poor communication.
What percentage of women would you say would be fine with a man saying, I like you, I'm definitely chilling right now, just having fun, I don't want anything serious, I just want to have sex with you, and I'm probably going to have sex with several other women?
I feel like the specifics of several other women would just kind of like make the door a little closed.
Multiple. Multiple.
I think there's a way to express that without looking someone in the eye and be like, I'm gonna have sex with 5 other people. Like, I feel like that's when you can say your infinite phase of
going with the flow.
Exactly.
Just flowing with,
then it's just like partners. We know what we're talking about, but there's just like, there's intention and then there's unnecessary.
Right.
I don't think that part would be unnecessary. But as far as your question, I think it would be a good percentage, at least 50. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I think more. But I think it goes into not necessarily having the conversation. I would say a high percentage of women would be open and happy with having the conversation. Just let's start there. But then it's like, it gets into logistics, like how are these men gonna phrase it? Because it's just like semantics matters. So what words are you choosing in order to articulate this thought?
Yeah. And
I feel like that's where there would be a lot of downfall.
Yeah, and just what's coming to me now is I feel like some women might be down with that, but then they might worry that, oh, you're not gonna give me enough attention and give me enough of the things I need. Like, that's cool. I don't need you 100% of the time. We don't have to be in an exclusive thing. You can do your thing. I might do my thing. But I do need a certain level of access to you. I do need us to spend certain kind of quality time together on a consistent basis. And if you out here with other women, you may not have enough of that time for me. And I think that's valid.
Yeah, I don't really like dating people who... Well, specifically, I didn't like dating men who were dating so many other women. Not because of the attention thing, but it's more so like, are you clean? Like, are you getting yourself checked out?
Definitely that part.
So
too.
it's for me, like when you said, are you giving me enough attention? I thought you were going to say, are you going to give me an STD? It's like, that's where my mind went. And I think that just people, not men, not women, just people in general, are open to the idea of, you know, like, let's keep things casual, or I'm doing this thing with multiple people. Like, we're in a whole open relationship. Obviously, we do that the multiple people thing, but I think that more people are open to whatever the type of conversation is going to be had, as long as people are honest and respectful.
Right.
And I think a lot of people are being disrespectful and not being honest, or being disrespectful by just not even showing up fully.
Yeah.
So, or just the words that you're choosing aren't wise or kind.
Yeah. And that's why I really look forward to our parties. We'll have more on that in the near future, but I really look forward to putting together our parties, because I am excited about the possibility of providing a space where people can really do that and like really take off the mask and really just show up without having to worry about all of the politically correct ways of going about it, or even like having all the fears about how we used to do things even yesterday, and making it determine your decisions. I just want a nice neutral place where you can step into these walls and just be free to be present and be yourself and say what you want and just do that and just interact in that way. Because I feel like we show what our representatives when we go and meet people, and we're very cautious with our words, and we're trying to, orchestrate this perfect choreography and do this dance together, and it's just bullshit. And we're not saying, even if we know our intentions, we're not moving in alignment with our intentions. We're trying to appease the other person. We don't want to lose the other person. We want to reel them in. We want to do the thing. And then you fuck around and be with them and then realize your intentions didn't align because we both lied to each other in ourselves.
And then at that point, you have grown so much feeling and connection, but it never was a proper match because all the lying that was happening, or just not. And sometimes it's not even a blatant lie. It's just
denial,
or just not standing in your truth.
Yeah.
Or just like trying to appease someone else. So it's like, I know you want this from me. I actually don't want to give this, or I don't know how to give it, but I can pretend until maybe I can do it right.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that happens because we're just, moving unintentionally.
Yeah.
But what do you think are, when it comes to intentional dating, like, what do you think people should do? And I'm talking about for new people, like people like fresh in a relationship or wanting to seek more relationships. What do you think that a few ways that people can show up?
If they're single going into the dating pool, definitely number one, knowing what you want. It all starts with knowing exactly what you want, and try not to pursue dating until you have a decent idea of what direction you want to go. It could change, but just having some general direction is good. There might be times where you don't know until you get into it, so that's fine. But I just think that the more you know about where you want to go, the better. So you can focus on the partners that will satisfy those desires of yours, and you're not wasting time on people that are not deserving. So I would say, number one, knowing what you want. Two, being an excellent communicator with the other person about who you are and what you want with them. Being able to be crystal clear as much as possible, go in as much depth as possible, so you can get to know the person. You can make sure that y'all align. And you could also ask them the proper questions about themselves. Because sometimes we don't know about other people because we didn't know what questions to ask.
Yeah.
We didn't know what to ask them. They didn't know what to tell us. And you still don't know. It's not a lie, but you still don't know.
Yeah. And, almost 4 years in, we had that situation last night where I'm trying to communicate something to you, and once I finally did, it's like one of those things that's like so prevalent in my life, that has been there my whole life, that like I didn't think to talk about it. And now that we did, it's like I feel tremendously closer to you, and you said that you feel the same with me. But it's like one of those simple things that we kind of should have talked about by now.
Yeah. And it affected you so much, knowing these things about yourself, that I just had no idea about. So how the hell am I supposed to be able to support you if I have no earthly idea that these things exist in your world and that these things are important to you? So it's about, like really knowing yourself and what you want, and being able to communicate that to your person. Yeah. So that would be 2. And then 3, I think allowing whatever comes next to happen, and not try to control it, because sometimes we will hear the person. Sometimes the person will tell us exactly what it is, and then we'll switch that shit up in our heads and make it sound like what we want, so that we can get still what we want, instead of allowing what really is to stay there. And this might not be what you should have in your life right now. Let it go.
Yeah, and it's all about like just believing people when they say who they are. Yeah. Like I feel like we get to a point where we create this persona of who we want to be with, and if you like fit a few of those markers, and it's like, well, you're all of these things, and that person might actually be none of them, but it's like we're boxing them in because we want to be delusional.
No, absolutely. So what are some ways that you feel that we can be more intentional going into 2024? What are some intentions you have for us or you within this relationship?
I think it goes back into, it all comes back to communication. But seriously, I think just being really intentional about how we're communicating, the words that we choose, how we're saying the words that we're choosing. So I feel like my problem a lot of the times with communicating is I might say the right thing, but I won't say it the right way. Mm-hmm. And I feel like you will say it the right way, but will say the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. So like being more intentional about like how we're delivering the message, because it's like we are both very self-aware and know how to communicate what we're feeling and when we're needing something. Even if it's like I need something and I don't know what it is, it's like we know something's up and we're also really in tune with one another. So the communication is there, but it's just like streamlining how that happens. Yeah. And one thing that, we were having a lot of deep conversations last night, and one thing that you kept saying to me, which it was so necessary for me, is you said I'm making a lot of like big statements that are like painting a brush over like, well, this is fact, instead of like reeling it in and being like, well, this is my experience, or like even fine tuning, like, I didn't even mean it that way. I need to be more specific so it doesn't make it seem like you never, you always. It's this one time right. You did this thing and I didn't like it. Right. And that was really helpful for me. And another thing that you always say to me is, ask questions. So I think going into 2024, I want to start asking more questions than statements. I think that we both can benefit from doing that. Another one is like scheduled check-ins. Like I want to have a weekly meeting, like on Sunday mornings, eating brunch with my man on the couch, and like check in. Like, so how was this week for you? Like what was really good? What was your high? What was your low? How can we be better? Maybe go over some finances, but like really checking in with like all those important parts of our life. And I say weekly because so much happens in a week. And it's like by the time if you do this once a month, the 3 things that were really affecting you the earlier half of the month are just, you don't even remember them, but it affected you. So it might come up again, but you never got a chance to talk about it. Yeah,
and I can agree with that. It's definitely big. And I think a week is a perfect amount of time to let enough happen so we have enough to talk about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. And the other thing, it's so funny, like growing up is interesting. I feel like I'm coming to these realizations, and you're probably gonna laugh at me or think about this and be like, wow, she's annoying. I'm coming to like a lot of these realizations of things that I need to do in order to show up in this relationship better. And I'm like coming to these realizations where it's like, yeah, this is really what I need. But all of them are things you've been telling me to do for the last 3 years.
Of course. Of course. Yep.
Like ask questions to statements. You've been saying that for at least 2 years. The check-ins I've been saying for a while. But this next one is, if something point something out when it comes up. Not waiting and letting it marinate, not stewing in it, and then by the time you have a conversation, you've created enough scenarios because you were angry, and now you're angrier about your delusions. Yeah. So when something happens, actually saying it and articulating it in a way that can be received. Yeah.
Is as much as sometimes I do, out of protection of myself, do that sometimes, or like the sake of the moment, I won't bring something up. Yeah. Other than that, I like to bring it up right away because I hate it personally. I hate when that happens to me. Yeah. Or like, something happens and then you bring it up the next day. I hate that shit so much. Because I feel like, just while it's fresh, while it's here, it's present, we can pick it apart, do what we need to do, and then move on, so it doesn't even have to travel with us to the next moment. Yeah. So that's when I definitely agree with you. It needs to happen immediately. Yeah. And for me, I would say patience, being very intentional about being patient with you and just like the steps that we're taking to grow together, and your contribution to those steps, like being patient and allowing you to develop the things that you need to develop to show up your best, and being patient with myself to also do that as well. and be present and not allow yesterday to influence today, and to just be very present. Only thing that matters is right now, not even tomorrow, but right now. What can we be doing right now? What does right now mean? And not pulling past experiences with you to reference to make decisions on what's going to happen now, or to feel stressed or angry or whatever about something from the past, or even to be happy about stuff from the past and like being stuck in that. I wanted everything to be presently what's happening now.
Yeah. No, I love that. I really do. My man's not trash, guys.
See, thank you. But also along with that, I want us to have some fucking fun. I want to be very intentional about fun. I want to prioritize fun. We're young. This is the prime of our lives. Like, I really want to be intentional, and I want to stop putting fun off for life's responsibilities and obligations and dramas.
There's always something.
Yeah, there's always going to be some shit. It's always going to be some shit. But I feel like if we can get super intentional about having fun, we can always make sure that the fun is the priority. That's the main experience that we get to have.
I think if we prioritize fun the way we do sex, we'd be a lot happier. And just like more balance.
Yeah.
Like, we work hard and we're constantly planning or talking about something or helping someone else with this one thing, and going back to like pouring into other people's cups. It's like we really need to just pour into ourselves and be a little selfish. Like, there's nothing wrong with being selfish.
Yeah.
Just prioritizing ourselves within our relationship, prioritizing the relationship, and making sure that we're not just hitting those important, adulty milestones.
Yeah. Then also like prioritizing our connection and making sure that we continually feel connected to each other. Always. And if we're off, not just allowing it to just happen and we float off into our own worlds. Let's reel it back in. Okay, what can we do to feel more connected with each other? In all ways, all the time. Yeah, I don't want any more weeks or months going past where we're just existing with each other. I don't want that.
No, seriously. And I think that goes back into like scheduling those check-ins. And ever since we moved in with each other, it's been 3 months now?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, it feels like longer and also shorter at the same time. But I don't know, I feel like I'm more connected to you, and like I understand you more, and also that you understand me more than like more in this 3 months than in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And it's been like really interesting, like trying to figure out what that is. But I think that we're more intentional about our connection, and definitely we can get better at it. But it just feels different. I feel more in sync and in flow, and it's just like moving about my day, being in sync with you, moving about my day, considering you and thinking about you, and meal planning and doing like that whole thing. It's and it makes me feel more balanced. Yeah, and I think that doing the check-ins more consistently will just help us grow as a whole.
That's what I'm saying. Being intentional about growth. I was going to say, being intentional about our growth. So the check-ins, making sure we're aligned, making sure we're hitting our goals, making sure that we're doing what we say that we want to do, but also making sure like we're giving attention to all the areas of our life, checking with each other, holding each other accountable, and just not letting any moment slip through. Because I definitely have my moments, like I deal with depression sometimes, and my past habits of depression, when I get into the worst of it, I could just allow weeks or months to just pass, and it's just like a blink of an eye is gone, and I'm not giving any real attention to it. So obviously you feel that, like those months where I'm just kind of just on autopilot, zombied out, and I'm like, it's like, hello, are you there? I don't want to exist with that anymore on me. So I want us doing that. I love like the breath work that we do now. It makes me connect so much to the moment. Just the breathing in, I feel like the breathing, it helps you connect with the fact that you're alive.
Yeah.
And give acknowledgement, I'm alive. I just breathed air into me.
No, really.
Yeah. So I really want that too.
There's this person that I follow who like talks about different types of meditations and just spirituality and stuff. And he talked about like being where your feet are, not where your head is. And I didn't understand it at first, but by being where your feet are, it's like you're standing in the moment. Where is your physical body right now? How can you be extremely present here? And being in your head, it's like a whole world is happening up there.
Yeah.
That's a part you don't even have control. It's like you'll get those intrusive thoughts that's just like, why did I think that? So it's like you don't even know, you can't even fully control that world sometimes. And we get so lost in our heads and then numb it out with just like social media.
Yeah.
So it's like being in your head all the time can be at a detriment. And I've been really trying to focus on like, how can I be just here? Not worry about, oh, I have to clean the kitchen. Oh, I have to get groceries. Oh, I have to have that meeting. Oh, I forgot to do this. I forgot to do that. Just like, how can I just be fully present and not concern myself with any other aspect of my life?
Yeah.
For this 20 minutes, for this hour that we do the pod, for whatever it is.
It's always going to be there. It doesn't go away.
It doesn't go away. It'll definitely be there, right, waiting for me.
Yeah.
I would say like that's a problem for like future Basirah.
Right.
And I love when like past Basirah does something for future Basirah, and then present Basirah gets to experience it. Like shout out to past Basirah.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely a good one. I also want to be very intentional about our sex, and I think just in general, I just think that would have people having just next level sex in general, like not just getting together and rubbing your bodies together and doing some things. Like, no, like what are we doing here? Like really, what are we doing here? What do you want to get? Like, I want to provide pleasure for my partner. I want to provide pleasure for myself. I want to receive pleasure. I want to feel powerful. I want to feel seen. I want to be creative in the positions or the toys or the scenes, or I want to get into your mind, or whatever the case is. It's just like, let's just go deeper with our sex. Like I really don't like meaningless sex anymore, just for the sake of rubbing those bodies together. I don't need that in my life. Not that we have it, because you know we don't be doing that, but we could even be more intentional. Yeah. In what we're doing. Yeah, for sure.
I absolutely agree. I think right now we're at a spot where it's like it's still fire, but it's like so fire that it's just like this is expected. This fire is expected. Now I want to get to like the depths where it's like the fire is so hot it's just blue. You know what I mean? Or like where we are getting to a spot where you know what it is? I want to connect with your spirit sexually. Yeah. And I feel like I have gotten the physical body down and I feel super connected. I know what to do. You know what to do. It always feels fulfilling and delicious, and like ego is out the door. But like now I just really want to connect with your spirit, and I want to like fuck your soul.
Yeah, I agree.
That's really what I want. And for 2024, just like really exploring Tantra and getting to that realm, because we've done the whips and chains and the multiples and all the vibrators and all that jazz, and I love it. Don't want to stop. I just want to add Tantra into the mix and see how we can even pull from all the different parts. Like how can we bring in some chains and some breath work at the same time? Right. And how can that amplify our experiences? Right.
Because in a sense, I get lazy sometimes, and there's like a funny word for me to use for sex. But like I get lazy in a sense, like now I'm giving lazy dick. It's not that.
No, it's not that.
It's not that. But I get so used to, like, I know my moves. I know the things you like. I just kind of, there's like a system that you start to create.
It's like boop, boop, boop.
Yeah, and I just, pull off all the things on the shelves, like right here. Like, like sometimes you may cook certain food based on like what you see in the front of the fridge or the cabinets right in front of you. But there's actually some other shit. If you just move some cans aside and move the bread aside, like there's other food in there that you can have access to. And I just want to have access to the full array of what's possible. Yeah. So I don't just get stuck in this beautiful but limited place at the end of the day when there's just so many other things that we can do.
You know what we should do before the new year?
What's that?
We should organize the toy chest.
Yeah.
We got a really nice one.
Yeah, I was searching on Amazon and I found this beautiful toy chest. It's like a fucking pirate chest, basically, in a sense, but it's like this nice tall one, and it has all these openings and you can put all kind of tools, and it swings open and pulls out, and I can hang my floggers and the paddles and stick the vibrators, and I just want to pull it out every time. It's the vision, to pull it out every time I want to use it, put it in front of the bed, just open it up, have all my tools, and just get to work.
Yeah.
And we got the beautiful chest sitting right there. Hello, chest. And I still got all my toys in my bag, and it's just all over the place. And
it doesn't. This for a while.
It's been a while. Just all the shit, just life getting in the way, and I haven't prioritized getting the damn chest together.
Yeah.
And I think it will signify the level of intention we have and the commitment we have to elevating our pleasure to another level by not leaving it in the bags where they are currently, and having them all set up, knowing I could just go in there and grab what I need. That gets me excited to know I'll be able to have that. So yeah, let's get the chest together before the end of the year.
I'm down. I'm excited.
Definitely. So is there anything else that you want to add to the conversation? Any other takeaways that you think that everyone can benefit from in being intentional in your relationships?
Sit with yourself. Like, figure out what you really need and how you can pour into yourself. And then once you have solidified that answer and known it and figured it out inside out, then go to your partner or extend out to dating or whatever you want to do, and really learn that person as much as you just learned yourself, and hear them and be honest with yourself and with them. Can I love you the way that you need to be loved? Can you love me the way that I need to be loved? And can I articulate how I need to be loved to set you up for success in this relationship? And I think that if we go there and we are just really intentional with just showing up as our full selves in every aspect of our life, that we would find a lot more balance and happiness.
I like that. Couldn't say it better myself.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, definitely. For me, I would say get excited. Like, get excited by knowing that the more intentional you can be, the more powerful you become, and the more control you have over your life. And just knowing like you can really have what you want for yourself, for your partners, and it's just exciting. Like, get excited. Don't get so caught up in the work part of being intentional that you miss out on all the excitement that comes with that power, and just letting it flow, and just having fun with it, and not being too much in your head. Yeah, and I needed to remind myself of that.
Me too.
Because I have a tendency of getting my to-do list out and all this shit I need to do, or writing these super detailed descriptions of things in my life. And there's a place for that, but you still gotta have fun in that process as you create and cultivate your life.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, let's walk into 2024 with real intention.
Yeah. And we will we'll keep you updated on our progress.
Yeah.
So with that being said, as we wrap up 2023, definitely take some time to do this work, and take some time for yourself. Number one, be intentional about everything in all areas of your life, whether it comes to your intimate relationships with others, whether it's your career, whether it's your spiritual growth, whether it's your interpersonal relationships, your family, whatever it is. Be intentional with your life. Take control over your life, and have fun. And we will continue to do this work with y'all. We can continue to grow with y'all. Please connect with us. We want to be intentional. Before we close out, actually, what are we being intentional for with the pod moving forward in 2024? I know starting out, we've been very intentional about being well-rounded about the things that we discuss in subject matter, and just hitting all the areas, and not just being focused on sex, but also like all the facets of relationship. And I know next for me and what I want to be intentional about is connecting with our listeners and people who support what we're doing. Like, I want to be a tool and a resource for them to be able to get the most out of their lives. So that's what I'm claiming our attention for BSOTB in 2024, being a resource for y'all. So please, that means that you got to connect with us. You got to hit us in the DMs. You got to hit us on Instagram. You got to email us. What's the email? Hello? No, it's not hello. Share at
bothsidesofthebed.tv.
Yes.
You can send us if you have advice, if you just want to share a story or ask a question, you can do it at, again, share at bothsidesofthebed.tv.
Yes. But what is your intention for BSOTB in 2024?
My intention is, I have to piggyback off of yours and just being a resource. I want to do more with coaching. I want to do more with connecting with our listeners and meeting our listeners and sharing more and showing up really authentically. Like, I think I was looking back at some past episodes and I could literally see myself hold back. And I really want to just show up fully, not for entertainment purposes, not for more likes or shares, but to just show up authentically and be a resource for the people that are supporting us. And I just want to support right back.
Absolutely. So that's what we're going to do. So you stay tapped in, stay listening, stay supporting, stay messaging, stay reaching out. Connect with us on all our social platforms at Both Sides of the Bed. Check us out on YouTube if you want to check out the episode visually. Check us out on all the podcast platforms, Both Sides of the Bed. And you got coaching.
Yes, if you want to take your intimate journey to the next level and really learn about how to be more intentional in your relationships, even in your relationship with yourself, then check me out at b-intimate.com. Link is also in the bio. If you want to do coaching with Ahmir and I and get both the masculine and feminine perspectives of your relationship, of your situation, of your life, let us know. We are here for you. Also, I really do love men. Y'all aren't trash.
It's all right, fellas. I got y'all. It's all right. Anyway, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Until next time, stay tuned for the sexy.